An hour after close. It was midday in a little town of herons. People from all around were active more around this time, shopping, hanging out, etc. Except for a middle-aged man named Michael, who had to work the same day. Never truly enjoying his job. Some points he even hated it. He walked slowly towards the building. If he had any good mood, it was gone before he was at the door, eventually going up the steps that led to the entrance. He stared deeply at the glass door. It reflected all that happened that was going on around him. He sighed in annoyance before finally entering the building. But little did he know, something was watching him. Entering inside, he didn't see very many people here today. But thinking about it more, this was supposed to be a weekend off for most people. This was to him, and the others, an extra workday. How rent was been for him lately, he needed to take the opportunity. Finding his desk, about to sit down, a woman walked up to him. "Well, a little late today, Michael," she said in a sarcastic tone. "Yeah, sorry, Mrs. Lawrence. Alarm didn't go off in time," he explained while sitting down. "Third time this week. I can't keep letting off like this. So I have to warn you now. The next time you do this, I can't keep you around," she warned. Michael nodded without a word, knowing there wasn't much to really add to it. She walked off back to her office that wasn't far from his desk. He laid back and started on his work for the morning. As the day kept going forward, his head began to hurt and sweat dripping from his face. Feeling weak and tired, he thought taking a quick nap wouldn't hurt. Besides, he was already going to be doing an overnight shift today anyway. Didn't seem like it would affect the work he was already going to be doing. With one final yawn, he laid his head against the cold and hard desk. It felt nice against his skin, which felt hot and sweaty. Things began to finally dull out. Sounds of chatter around the office and laughter were soon out of mind as the light that he saw went black. He found himself in a dark pool of water, but instead of being directly in it, he was on top. Taking a step, the water only splashed a bit from the surface. "Hello?" he called out. There wasn't any type of heat or chill that moved around. Almost purely neutral. He began walking around, exploring the place he was in. Each step left a splash behind. It also gave a small echo. Behind him, the sound of a spotlight could be heard. A stroller could be seen moving towards the spotlight, floating above the water, just as he was. Curiosity got him, but his brain also knew something wasn't right with the situation. He shook his head and walked away, only to be met with the same stroller in front of him when he turned around. "What the hell?" he blurted out. The inside of the stroller was covered with a thick, white sheet, although he could see the bumps of the sheet moving around. Reaching out his hand to take off the sheet was quickly withdrawn, with a black ooze began spilling from the sides. A small, grey hand popped out from one side of the stroller. Then soon, 3 more showed themselves. Horrified, Michael stepped back, trying to get distance between him and whatever monstrosity lied within the stroller. As he was doing so, however, the straw leg creaked forward towards him. Instead of walking away, he began to run, and the sounds of crying babies surrounded him, piercing his ears. Each direction he ran, the same stroller appeared, coming towards him, till eventually he was surrounded to the point of no escape. The crying stopped as the sheet of one in front of him was pulled away with an aggressive force. He heard his heart pump loudly as he saw the grey hands grape onto the sides of the stroller once again. The creature that had appeared out had a small head of an infant, but only had a mouth that had flat teeth that wouldn't stop chattering as if it was freezing. Once it stood up, turning its head in curiosity, Michael stood frozen. Fear kept him from moving or reacting. The sight alone made his own heart want to escape its cage, and then jumped towards his face with an horrifying screech, almost mimicking the sound of a baby. Jolting up from his desk, nearly knocking his chair down, Michael took his time to take his breath, his heart still hitting against his chest. His lungs were aching in pain as he tried to breathe. The inhaler he had on his desk, he quickly inhaled before he was able to relax. Sitting on the floor, he eventually realized it was late at night. No one was around the office, not a single person in sight. All the computers were shut off, and the lights were out. Crickets chirping their song were heard from the outside as he got himself up. Looking on his computer, he saw it was nearly midnight, so they closed about an hour ago. Going from the front door, which is unlocked from the inside, found that it wasn't budging. There was a light from the security office, letting people know a security guard is on duty. Michael began banging on the door, hoping to get the security guard's attention, only for it to fail. About to bang on the door one last time, rumbling came from behind him. Turning, he saw the light from the manager's office was still on, though they weren't the usual lights on the ceiling, but a faint orange. Shadows could be seen dancing around the bottom of the door as crept towards it. "Mrs. Lawrence?" he called out. No response, only just uncomfortable squishy noise coming from behind the door. He slowly opened the door, only to be met with horror. Mrs. Lawrence was chewing on the head of a co-worker he once knew. Her mouth, seemingly bigger than before, as slits crossed them. Blood dripped from her eyes as one of them stuck out of a socket. Both eyes looked at him as she grinned while crushing upon a piece of a skull. "Hello, Michael. I've been waiting for you to wake up for a while now," she giggled. She then shoved the body off her, as her hands revealed to have more to them. Both hands had two knife-like fingers, stained in blood, while looking rusted at the same time. "What are you?" he yelled in horror. "Oh, is that how you talk to all women?" she asked, still grinning. Seeing as she was about to get up, Michael quickly slammed the door and jammed it with a chair, quickly running to the front door and banging upon it once more. He saw the security guard standing outside his room, smoking a cigarette. He noticed Michael pleading for help, only for him to look away. Michael felt crushed beneath his own feet as he watched the security guard not only ignore him, but walk back into his office. The slamming against the door he blocked before, he could tell was going to bash open soon. Hiding behind the desk, The door slammed open, causing the chair to fly across the office. He peeked a bit, seeing her stand still, but quickly got onto all fours as her eyes gleamed like a cat's at night. He covered his mouth, hoping to not be heard as the sound of crawling was heard across the room. "Michael, where are you?" she asked creepily. He stayed quiet as soon after she did as well. A liquid began dripping on his shoulder, which spooked him. Looking up, flashing the light on his phone. There she stood on the ceiling with a devilish smile. "I want you, Michael," she said before launching onto him, slashing him as she screamed in agony, cutting him deep within his stomach as she began feasting on him from the inside. Eventually the sound of his screams died off, and it was only the sound of him munching upon his corpse that could be heard. The phone vibrated of a text from someone on Michael's phone. The creature picked it up as she read the text. "Michael, I don't know where you are, but the result's back positive." The text was from a girl named Haley, with hearts beside her name. "Oh, Michael, you're going to have a baby. Too bad he couldn't be there to see it." The creature spoke before returning to its feast. Thank you all so much for listening to tonight's story. Now I'd like to take a moment to thank all of my Patreons who helped make this channel possible. Thank you, Breaker19, for all your help and support. You guys are amazing.